Farmers across America lost it, and John Deere was at the center of it all. The company, which was once synonymous with innovation, is now being criticized with a new policy. Farmers are facing challenges they never anticipated, which are reshaping the way they work and raising concerns across industries. But how did John Deere lose the trust of farmers? Can they recover from counterattacks? And what does this mean for the food on your table? What happened? What most people don't realize is that the name that was once synonymous with farming freedom is now seen as a symbol of control. Farmers across America are grappling with unexpected challenges, and at the heart of the storm is John Deere. Once revered for its innovation, the company is now under fire for a new policy that's shaking the trust of those who rely on its equipment. Farmers are facing pressures they never saw coming, transforming the way they do their work and raising alarms throughout various industries. But what went wrong for John Deere? How did they lose the faith of the very people who helped build their legacy? And what does this mean for the food that ends up on our tables? What many don't realize is that the iconic name, once a symbol of farming independence, is now being viewed as a representation of control. How did it all change? And can the company recover from the backlash? John Deere is not just a company, it is a movement. From its humble beginnings in 1837, when a blacksmith named John Deere invented the steel plow, the company was synonymous with innovation and advancement in agriculture. This revolutionary tool made it easier to cultivate the hard, unforgiving soils of the American Midwest, turning barren land into productive farmland. Farmers credit John Deere as a partner in their success, and its green and yellow equipment became a staple on farms across the country. For decades, John Deere embodies reliability, empowering farmers to grow food for a rapidly evolving world. The machine is not just a tool, they are a symbol of independence and ingenuity. Farmers can count on them not only to work hard, but to last a long time. Having John Deere means you are part of the legacy, passing on the values of independence and determination. But over time, cracks began to form in this relationship. In recent years, John Deere has shifted his focus from empowering farmers to controlling them. The introduction of the company's advanced technology initially seemed like another step forward. GPS-guided tractors, smart sensors, and precision farming tools promised to make farming more efficient and profitable. However, this same technology became a control tool, limiting farmers' ability to maintain and repair their own equipment. John Deere's proprietary software and locked systems created a dependency that eroded the trust he once enjoyed. Farmers who had relied on John Deere for generations now feel betrayed by the company they helped build. And this is where the betrayal begins, where freedom is traded for profit. So how did a company that once fought for farming freedom become a symbol of control? Let's dig deeper into the policy that sparked this controversy. The right to repair the battle. Imagine having something but being told that you can't fix it. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? The right to remedy the debate is at the heart of this controversy. Farmers invest heavily in their equipment, often spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on tractors, harvesters, and planters. For generations, owning such equipment meant taking pride in maintaining it yourself. Improvement, whether big or small, is part of the culture of agriculture, an expression of independence and resourcefulness. But with John Deere's modern machines, that independence is gone. The equipment is now equipped with proprietary software that acts as a gatekeeper. Farmers can no longer diagnose problems or replace parts without accessing the software, something that only this certified John Deere technician can do. Means that even simple repairs, such as repairing faulty sensors or replacing batteries, require a call to an authorized repair service. Result: skyrocketing costs and unbearable delays. Problems that used to be fixed in a few hours now take days or even weeks. And the cost is not just monetary, but measured in the time lost during the critical planting or harvesting window. For farmers, time is not just money, it is survival. John Deere defended these restrictions by arguing that they protect intellectuals, the actual properties of their software, and ensure security. But farmers see this as a smokescreen. They argue that these policies are less about safety and more about control, forcing them into an endless cycle of dependence on companies. This is why this is important to you. When food supply chains are disrupted, we all feel the effects. And this is just the beginning. Farmers began to resist. But before we discuss counter-resistance, we need to explore how John Deere's control goes beyond discomfort to a form of economic coercion, the cost of control. This is where it gets really interesting. John Deere's grip on farmers may have slipped. The consequences of John Deere's restrictive policies are not limited to individual farmers. They ripple throughout the agricultural industry and beyond. When farmers are forced to endure costly delays and rising repair costs, the economic impact spreads like a wave. Crops are not planted or harvested, which leads to a decrease in supply. This scarcity affects the entire food supply chain, driving up prices for consumers. Take, for example, idle delays by equipment. In one example, a farmer in Iowa reported losing an entire soybean field because his harvester remained damaged for 2 weeks during a critical harvest period. The financial losses are not only his, but also contribute to higher soybean prices, which trickle down to grocery stores and eventually to consumers. The problem is compounded by the lack of affordable alternatives. Farmers facing exorbitant repair costs often have no choice but to continue using outdated equipment or take on more debt to finance new purchases. This puts smallholder farmers at significant losses, pushing many to the brink of financial collapse. Worse, this policy not only harmed farmers, but also damaged John Deere's reputation. Once seen as a partner in the success of American farmers, the company is now seen by many as an obstacle. Farmers who once sworn with John Deere are exploring alternatives, turning to competitors that offer more flexible repair options and less restrictive policies. The reaction had begun, and it shook the foundations of the agricultural industry. But what happens when those who feed the world decide that they have had enough? Seeds of resistance. What started as frustration is now a full-fledged movement for freedom. The frustration among farmers is not limited to their fields. It grew into a grassroots movement that is now shaking the foundations of agricultural policy. At the heart of this movement is a demand for the right to repair, a call for something that seems very basic, the ability to repair your own equipment. Farmers argue that owning a tractor or harvester should mean owning everything about it, including the necessary software and tools for maintenance and repairs. It's not just a matter of comfort, it's a struggle for independence. Imagine spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on an appliance only to be told that you have no right to maintain it as you see fit. That is the reality that farmers face every day. This growing resistance began as an isolated grievance, farmers venting to each other about the challenges of working with John Deere's restrictive policies. But it is quickly gaining momentum as more farmers realize that they are not alone. Organizations advocating for consumer rights and freedom of improvement saw an opportunity to amplify these voices, and soon farmers became part of a larger movement fighting for legislative change. And this leads to an unexpected turn. Farmers don't just fight, they win. But how do you fight giants like John Deere? Let's take a look at the first crack in his armor. First victory. In 2022, something happened that changed everything. The fight for the right to repair took a significant leap forward in 2022, when Colorado passed the first right-to-fix legislation in the United States. This landmark legislation requires companies like John Deere to provide diagnostic tools, manuals, and spare parts to independent farmers and workshops. It was a monumental victory that proved that the voice of the peasants could no longer be ignored. Colorado's law set a precedent that inspired similar laws in other states. Lawmakers are beginning to see the broader implications of the right to a fix debate, acknowledging that it's not just about farmers, it's about consumer rights, corporate accountability, and economic stability. For farmers, this is not just a victory, it is validation. After years of feeling silenced and controlled, they see tangible evidence that their struggles can lead to change. Farmers across the country began to rally around this victory, using it as a rally, try to push for more comprehensive reforms at the state and federal levels. It is the cracks in the armor that give hope to farmers. But the battle is far from over. John Deere and his allies would not fall without a fight. But against giants like John Deere, it's not just about winning, it's about survival. While the Colorado law is a turning point, it also reveals the extent to which John Deere and similar companies will retain control. These companies immediately refused, investing heavily in lobbying efforts to block similar laws in other states. With deep pockets and significant influence, they managed to slow progress in many areas. John Deere argues that open access to repair tools poses a safety risk, increases the likelihood of intellectual property theft, and leads to misuse of equipment. Farmers, however, see these claims as spreaders of fear designed to protect profits, not people. They point out that security concerns can be addressed through training and certification programs, while intellectual property fears are exaggerated, given that most farmers only want to repair their equipment, not reverse engineer it. For small-scale farmers, the stakes couldn't be higher. They are not only fighting for their right to improve, they are fighting for their livelihood. The financial strain of delayed repairs, combined with the rising cost of equipment, has pushed many people to the brink of bankruptcy. This is not just a battle for independence. This is a battle for survival. But despite the obstacles, farmers found a way to take back control. As the fight intensifies, the contenders see an opportunity to intervene and disrupt John Deere's dominance. Alternatives emerged. When one door is closed, the other opens, and that's exactly what happens in the tractor market. As John Deere continued to alienate farmers with his policy of restrictions, competitors stepped in to fill the void. Companies such as Kubota, AGCO, and CNH Industrial are growing by offering more farmer-friendly solutions. Kubota, for example, has found success with its versatile compact tractors, which are particularly attractive to small-scale farmers. These machines are not only more affordable, but they also come with a repair policy that empowers owners to maintain their equipment independently. For farmers who feel closed off by John Deere, Kubota's approach offers a breath of fresh air. AGCO, maker of brands such as Fendt and Massey Ferguson, has taken a similar approach by prioritizing farmer autonomy and offering transparent repair procedures. AGCO has managed to win over more disappointed John Deere customers. Their equipment is competitively priced and their repair tools are more accessible, making them an attractive alternative for farmers. Reliability without strings attached. Meanwhile, CNH Industrial, which owns brands such as Case IH and New Holland, is making strides with advanced precision agriculture technology. This innovation directly competed with John Deere's offering, but came without the same strict remediation policy. Farmers are paying attention, and the shift is becoming more and more apparent in the market. Even Caterpillar, traditionally known for its construction equipment, has begun to make its way into the agricultural sector. Leveraging a strong dealer network and a customer-centric approach, Caterpillar positions itself as a serious competitor. This shift is reshaping the industry in a way that no one could have predicted. But what does this mean for John Deere's future? The battle had just begun, and the implications far exceeded the competition. John Deere decline. John Deere's dominance was under threat, but it wasn't just the rivalry that eroded their empire. For decades, John Deere stood unrivaled as the king of agricultural machinery. Farmers swear by its reliability, strength, and innovation, but the last few years have revealed cracks in the foundations of this agricultural giant. As farmers grew increasingly frustrated with restrictive repair policies, the effects began to be seen in John Deere's sales and market share. In the third quarter of 2024, John Deere reported a decrease in sales of 27.06% compared to the same period the previous year. This decline far exceeds the average decline of 15.8% experienced by him. Competitors signify deeper problems within the company. What the farmer who turned away from John Deere once thought of is now a reality. Decline is not just about numbers, it's about trust. Farmers who feel betrayed by John Deere's policies are exploring alternatives. Competitors such as Kubota, AGCO, and CNH Industrial are quickly capitalizing on this opportunity, offering more flexible repair options and innovative technologies that meet the needs of farmers. This shift is undeniable, and for John Deere, the consequences can be devastating, and it has a ripple effect that goes far beyond the company's balance sheet. But what happens when agricultural giants stumble? The effect is not limited to companies. They spread throughout the economy. the economic crash. When farmers struggle, the whole community feels the pain. John Deere's restriction policy has created a domino effect that extends beyond the field. As farmers are forced to endure costly repairs and downtime, the economic impact ripples through local communities, national economies, and even global food supply chains. Imagine a farmer in the Midwest is unable to harvest their corn crop on time because of a broken combination. The delay led to a decline in yields, which in turn meant less supply for processors producing corn products. As a result, families pay more for staple foods such as bread, cereals, and even meat. The situation is even more dire for rural communities, where agriculture is the backbone of the local economy. Family-run farms are often the lifeblood of small towns that drive business for local suppliers, hardware stores, and service providers. When farmers have to spend more on repairs or new equipment, they have less to invest in their communities, small businesses suffer, and the economic stability of the entire region is weakened. This financial pressure also has an impact on farmers' mental health, exacerbating an already challenging lifestyle. With slim profit margins, many farmers live in constant fear of financial ruin. The added burden of not being able to fix their equipment only exacerbates their stress, leading to a growing mental health crisis in rural America. As the economic downturn worsens, the human cost becomes clearer. Let's explore what this battle means for the farmers themselves, the struggle for survival. Imagine losing your livelihood due to company policies. For many farmers, this is a reality. For farmers, downtime is not only troublesome, but also devastating. Skipping the planting or harvesting window can mean lost income throughout the season. When you combine these risks with the rising cost of equipment and repairs, it creates a perfect storm that threatens the survival of many farms. Take, for example, Sarah, a dairy farmer in Wisconsin who struggles to keep her farm afloat after her milking machine breaks down. Under John Deere's policy, he could not repair the machine himself or hire a local technician. Instead, he was forced to wait for official repairs, which took almost 2 weeks. During that time, its milk production plummeted, spending thousands of dollars. For Sarah, this is not just a financial blow, it is a stark reminder of how vulnerable farmers are. It's not just about dollars and cents, it's about dignity. Farmers who were once proud of their independence now feel helpless in the face of corporate policies designed to control every aspect of their operations. For small-scale farmers who are already operating with very thin margins, the stakes could not be higher. Many are pushed out of the industry entirely, unable to compete with larger operations that can absorb costs. The ripple effect of this loss goes far beyond agriculture. When small farms are closed, local and regional food supplies are disrupted. People are losing their access to fresh and affordable products, and the diversity of the agricultural landscape as a whole is suffering. But the fight is far from over. Farmers take matters into their own hands. As the stakes get higher, the battle over policy improvements extends to the courtroom and the legislative chamber. Legal battles and corporate fears. Why is John Deere so afraid of giving rights to farmers? The legal battle over the right to repair has become a war of principles. Farmers argue that they should have the freedom to repair the equipment they own, while John Deere argues that opening up repair tools and software would lead to safety risks and intellectual property theft. But behind this argument lies a deeper problem: control. John Deere's reluctance to share repair tools is not just about protecting his software, it's about maintaining a monopoly on the repair market. By forcing farmers to rely on official services, the company secures a steady stream of income. It's not just about safety or innovation, it's about profits. Farmers and advocacy groups have taken their fight to court, challenging these restrictive practices as anti-competitive and exploitative. While some progress has been made, the battle is far from over. John Deere continued to pour money into lobbying efforts to block the right to amend the law, using his influence to slow down the movement. But the tide may change. Farmers are gaining allies in unexpected places, from consumer rights organizations to tech companies advocating for broader freedom of improvement. This growing coalition is putting pressure on lawmakers to enact meaningful changes, and momentum is building. This sets the stage for a fight that could change the industry forever. as the fight over the right to remedy intensifies, one question looms big. What does this mean for the future of agriculture? A new era of agriculture. What if the future of agriculture was not about tractors, but about freedom? The Right to Fix movement has sparked a broader conversation about the future of agriculture. For decades, technological innovation in agriculture has been synonymous with advancements, more advanced tractors, precision farming tools, and smart equipment. But now farmers and industry experts are rethinking what innovation really means. At its core, it's about restoring balance. Farmers are no longer satisfied with being passive users of the ownership system. They want to reclaim their independence. Open-source platforms and third-party remediation tools are emerging as viable alternatives to the limited ecosystem of enterprises. Imagine a future where farmers can access universal repair tools, diagnostics, and parts for whatever equipment they own. This is not just a dream, it is a reality, and this shift represents a fundamental redefinition of agriculture. Instead of relying on a handful of companies, farmers can collaborate with independent innovators and local improvement networks. The future of agriculture could be one where autonomy and efficiency coexist, and where farmers regain the ability to solve problems their way. And this could level the playing field for farmers everywhere, restoring the independence they fought so hard to protect. But what lessons can be learned from companies that have embraced these values? Let's take a look. Lessons from competitors. Sometimes, the best lessons come from your rivals. While John Deere struggled with the impact of his restriction policies, competitors took a different approach, which earned them the trust and loyalty of farmers. Take Kubota, for example. Known for its versatile compact tractors, the company has made significant breakthroughs by focusing on small-scale farmers. By offering affordable and reliable equipment with a repair policy that respects the autonomy of farmers, Kubota appeals to those who feel alienated by John Deere's practices. AGCO, the parent company of brands such as Massey Ferguson and Fendt, also prioritizes farmers' independence. Their equipment is competitively priced and designed with transparent repair procedures, making it easy for farmers to perform maintenance without jumping over the corporate circle. This approach has allowed AGCO to continue to increase its market share, especially in regions where farmers are looking for alternatives to John Deere. Meanwhile, CNH Industrial, which owns Case IH in New Holland, is focusing on cutting-edge technologies such as Advanced Precision Farming System. This innovation rivaled John Deere's offering, but came without the same strict repair policy. Farmers who adopt this system benefit from the best of both worlds: advanced technology and the freedom to manage their equipment as they see fit. Even Caterpillar, which has traditionally been associated with construction equipment, has begun targeting the agricultural market. By leveraging a strong dealer network and a customer-centric philosophy, Caterpillar positions itself as a serious competitor in agriculture. These companies prove that respecting farmer autonomy is not only good ethics, but also good business. But the real driving force behind change is not competition. It was the farmer himself, farmer's voice. For many years, farmers felt unheard, but now their voices are impossible to ignore. The grassroots rights movement to improve has given farmers a platform to demand change, and they are using it to full effect. Advocacy groups, independent technicians, and even consumers have joined forces to amplify their message. Together, they have transformed what was once a niche issue into a national conversation. Social media has played an important role in spreading awareness. Farmers share their stories online, documenting the challenges they face with restrictive policies and the toll they have taken on their livelihoods. This first-hand report has touched the hearts of people from all walks of life, creating a wave of support for the movement. Legislators also pay attention. In addition to Colorado's groundbreaking legislation, similar bills are gaining traction in states across the country. At the federal level, the conversation is becoming more widespread, with policymakers beginning to recognize the broader implications of corporate control over essential goods and services. This collective momentum is reshaping the agricultural industry. Farmers are no longer waiting for change to come from the top. They are demanding it from the bottom up. And when their voices grow louder, the industry has no choice but to listen. And this changes everything. Because this is not just about agriculture anymore. It is about the power of collective action. So what does this mean for John Deere and the future of the agricultural industry as a whole, the way forward? So what does the future do for John Deere and for agriculture? The future of agriculture is at a crossroads. On the one hand, there is the promise of technology, innovation, and efficiency. On the other hand, the need for autonomy, independence, and justice. For John Deere, the challenge is clear. Adapt to the changing demands of the industry, or risk losing its place at the forefront of agriculture. The company's restrictive policies may have served the purpose of short-term profits, but they have also alienated its core customer base. Rebuilding trust will not be easy, but it is not impossible. By embracing the right to improve the movement and prioritizing the needs of farmers, John Deere was able to regain its reputation as a trusted partner in agriculture. At the same time, the industry as a whole is growing. Emerging technologies such as blockchain for supply chain transparency, open source hardware, and sustainable farming practices are reshaping the way food is grown, harvested, and distributed. These innovations offer an opportunity for companies to align with the values of modern farmers, values rooted in collaboration, fairness, and adaptability. For farmers, the future is promising and uncertain. While the right to improve the movement made progress, the battle was far from over. Resistance remains strong, and the transition to a fairer farming system will take time. But one thing is certain: farmers no longer want to be silent. Their fight has changed the conversation, and the ripple effect will be felt for years to come. The days of unbridled corporate control are coming to an end, and a new chapter in agriculture begins. As we look back on this journey, one question stands out. What role will we play in shaping the future of agriculture? What are your thoughts on the right to repair movement? Should John Deere loosen its hold and allow farmers to reclaim control over their equipment? Or do you think their concerns about security and intellectual property are justified? We'd love to hear your opinions. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts with us.